I'm Alex Miceli, and this is my one take. Thank you, by the way, for checking it out last week. This is going to be volume 2. Right behind me at the Buffalo Studios is, of course, Billy Casper's green jacket. I hope Augusta National doesn't see this. Nobody there. I don't want to get all upset about the green jacket being outside the confines, but I think it's okay. This week we saw Max Homa win on the PGA Tour for the first time in his career. Spent a lot of time, 3 days, at Bandon Dunes, 20th anniversary. It was terrific, which I'll talk about. And there's so much more, but let's get to the most important things. The broom. The broom symbolizes one thing and one thing only. It means a sweep. Now, if you were a submarine, it would mean one thing. If you're the Chicago Cubs, it means you swept the St. Louis Cardinals. How could you beat that? Nothing beats that. Started, what was it, 2-7, go 19-12. First place, perfect day on Monday here at Buffalo Studios. However, it kind of folds into what happened with Max Homa. Started poorly in his career, 2015, lost his card, really struggled to try to stay professional, found his way on the web.com tour, and then here he does, gets his card back, shows up at the Wells Fargo Championship, and what does he do? He beats down a Justin Rose, he beats down a Rory McIlroy, he beats down a Sergio Garcia, wins the first time. Now, this is exactly what the Cubs did. Beat down for the first 9 games or 7 games, and all of a sudden what happens? They're in the promised land. Max Homa, what a great job, because he didn't fold comparatively to all the other players that were behind him. I mean, Justin Rose had a decent round, but Rory McIlroy folded. Max Homa did a great thing. And then what happens? I think it's hard to explain when you win the first time on the PGA Tour what goes through your mind. In Max Homa's case, who is just going to get married pretty soon, he thought about the fact that he can now actually pay for his wedding. Now, that seems a little bizarre, a professional golfer worrying about money, but they actually do. They're actually real people. I'll give you a perfect example. Vaughn Taylor won after a long stretch of losing at the AT&T, about 2 years ago. His wife in the interview room, I overheard her saying to a friend, "Thank goodness we can now pay for dry cleaning." They're real people. Not everybody's like Rory McIlroy and Justin Rose with a lot of cash. Some people actually have to figure out how to deal with winning $1.4 million. And believe me, when you break it all down, it sounds like a lot, but between caddies and agents and taxes and everything else, it's not the mother lode. However, it gets them in a place for a 2-year exemption, gives them an opportunity to run along and play golf for a professional at least 2 more years. And I think Max Homa has found out how to win on the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy certainly knows how to win on the PGA Tour. But for whatever reason, he just stunk it up in the final round at the Wells Fargo. I mean, no pressure at all. No birdies for a while. Places where he should have made pars, he made bogeys. Places where he should have made birdies or eagles. The 10th hole, by the way, makes a double. What happened to Rory McIlroy? Justin Rose played fine. They were paired together. But what happened to Rory McIlroy? Now, you got to wonder, does this mean he's going to play poorly going into the PGA Championship? Or does this mean he's going to play okay? I think he's going to be fine. That's if he can find a way to putt, which is a bit questionable. Everybody has struggles putting on the PGA Tour, and if you don't putt well, you're not going to win. Let's take Jason Dufner. Now, first of all, I am not a Dufner fan. The guy never smiles. I mean, practically never smiles. I think he could meet, I don't know, the best-looking women in the world, which he did when he got married, and he never smiled. The guy just doesn't smile. And he clearly hates the media, which we could get into later. But the bottom line is Jason Dufner hits the ball so well. He won a PGA Championship. He won at Memorial, 2 great ball striking situations. He clearly knows how to putt. He just needs to figure out what is wrong with his putting now. Now, CBS, during the broadcast, who broadcast the Wells Fargo Championship, spent ad nauseum time speaking about the fact that Jason Dufner can't putt. After the 10th time mentioning it, I got it. I understand. I don't need any more. However, the bottom line is Jason Dufner needs to figure out how to putt. And if he can putt with the ball striking game that he has, he's going to be off the charts. Oddly enough, there was something weird about Dufner as well. Have you ever heard of dude wipes? I have no idea what a dude wipe is, but it's on his sleeve. How does somebody walk around on the PGA Tour wearing something on his sleeve called dude wipes? I understood the Corona on the hat, but dude wipes? Maybe you could send me a note and explain to me what that might be. Lastly, about the Wells Fargo. Week 19 of 2018, Max Homa was 985th in the world playing on the web.com tour. Last week going into the Wells Fargo, he is 407th in the world. Today, he's 102nd after that win. Just shows you how quickly you can move up the leaderboard on the world ranking. All right, let's get past the PGA Tour. Let's talk about life in Bandon, Oregon. 20 years ago, Mike Kaiser opened Bandon Dunes, an 18-hole golf course which, by his own admission, wasn't sure it was going to work. How is it that you buy, 1,200 acres of land, build a golf course, and then say, I'm not sure it's going to work or not? But that's exactly what Mike Kaiser did, and I had a chance to talk to him about what it was like 20 years ago when he started Bandon Dunes.
It was a harebrained scheme. It was total speculation.
The other part of that equation is not only Mike Kaiser, but it's David McClay Kidd, the architect. Unknown architect. You know who he is today, but back then he was some kid. And actually, Kaiser doesn't hire him if not for Kidd's father, who he really liked. So now you got this unknown architect working on this property that, as we already heard, Mike Kaiser saying, I don't know if it's going to work or not. When I talked to David about it, it was like, David, what were you thinking 20 years ago, and does this blow you away now?
Opened up so many opportunities, allowed me to explore various genres of architecture. I mean, it's allowed me to do so much.
Okay, just in case you're wondering, 4 18-hole golf courses at Bandon and then a perfect 13-hole masterpiece. That is what Bandon Dunes is today. And there's still another 18 holes you're going to build at the Sheep Ranch, which when that gets done, which by the way, no bunkers, when that gets done, I don't know what to tell you. There are 9 holes on the ocean at the Sheep Ranch. It's just going to be spectacular. If you have not been to Bandon Dunes and you are a golfer, you're a nut. I want to thank Mike Kaiser, David McClay Kidd for giving me some time out there. I don't know what to tell you. It was just unbelievable. All right. In about a week, we're going to start the second major of the season, the PGA Championship. Brando Chambly, the Golf Channel, who I know very, very well, for some reason was talking about who he was thinking about for the PGA Championship. And he mentioned Tiger Woods, and he mentioned Dustin Johnson, he mentioned Rory McIlroy. But he didn't mention Brooks Koepka. Now, Brooks Koepka has won 3 major championships, 2 US Opens, and a PGA. How is it that you wouldn't mention Brooks Koepka, Brandel? What could you be thinking, Brandel? Is it possible that Brooks Koepka gets no respect?
No respect. I don't get no respect at all.
Now, if you didn't recognize him because I'm an old man, and I did, that's Rodney Dangerfield. So is Brooks Koepka the most recent Rodney Dangerfield? Is he taking over that position on professional tour? Is he I can't get any respect when I win almost every time I tee it up in a major championship? I don't really understand it. I can understand mentioning Tiger Woods, but he's 43. His game is suspect over a course like that. I can understand you mentioning Rory McIlroy, but as I just mentioned earlier, his putter is a bit balky, even though he hits the ball great. I can understand you mentioning Dustin Johnson, but he's got 1 major championship and he's thrown more away than he's been able to keep. And on top of that, his game seems to be a bit suspect this year. Then you look at Brooks Koepka. Where are the faults in Brooks Koepka's game? I can't see them. I mean, yeah, he didn't win at the Masters, but I thought he played great. Just didn't happen. That's going to happen in professional golf. So why not take Brooks Koepka? He's my pick in 2 weeks. Why would you suggest that he's not? By the way, here's a little picture of Brooks Koepka posted on Twitter with Brando Chambly. I think this is more than appropriate. Okay. I think I've said enough for today. Let's just talk about a couple last things. 1, maximum security. You know, the horse, the Kentucky Derby, disqualified. There's at least one group of players understands exactly what that horse is going through, and that would be the New Orleans Saints. And you can see that they tweeted about their support for maximum security, understanding bad calls in big situations. So at least maximum security has some support from some quarters, even though it wasn't the stewards at the Kentucky Derby. One last thing. Kerry Wood, 21 years ago today, pitched a 20... Just thinking about it, I can't even think about it. 20 batters went down with strikeouts, 20 batters. Bill James, the stats guy, I should say, in Major League Baseball said that might be the best pitching performance ever by using his cybermetrics. Kerry Woods, 21 years ago today, 20 batters down by strikeouts. Just leaving you with that thought as the Cubs have a 3-game series against the Marlins. And I will see you next week. It's Alex Miceli from the Buffalo Studios, and this has been One Take.